Hi everyone, and welcome to the Week 4 podcast for Administrative Law. In last week's podcast, we looked at the nature of judicial review, what types of decisions and conduct are judicially reviewable, and issues of standing. So these are all threshold issues which allow you to get through the door to bring a judicial review action in administrative law. So this week we introduced the grounds of review, which will be a major focus of the podcast in the coming weeks. So now we're looking at what happens once you're through the door. What can you argue and how can you show that an administrative decision that has been made is invalid or unlawful to establish a successful judicial review action? So the first ground of judicial review that we look at is also the most common one and pertains to natural justice or procedural fairness. So there will be 3 podcasts this week. The first is on the threshold requirements for natural justice, and the second 2 relate to the content of natural justice. So the second podcast looks at the hearing rule, and the third podcast looks at the bias rule of natural justice. If you have any questions at all about this week's podcast, please don't hesitate to email me, to write a question on the discussion forum, or to call me or drop by during my consultation hours from 3 to 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. Thanks everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast.